there, and welcome to Musicians Edition. I'm the flute teacher Reesa, and today we're going to be looking at the Zhao wooden flute. So as you can see, the wooden flute is not entirely made out of wood, but the body and the head joint are. The mechanisms are silver plated. So the Zhao Wood Flute has a wooden head joint and body with silver plated penned mechanisms, French open holes, pointed key arms. This one is offset G with a C sharp trill key, D sharp roller, and a B foot joint. So this flute has a lot of features to it, especially for being a wooden flute. Pretty neat. Now the thing is, this flute is pretty comfortable, at least with that D sharp roller. Some of them are not as comfortable as others, but I didn't find myself accidentally hitting it. So this flute is a little bit more of a comfortable flute when it comes to that. Things that are a little bit different is most definitely the width of the flute. This is a little wider than a regular flute, and it feels really different with the lip plate. You can tell you're playing with wood. And if you get it brand new, it has a wood smell. It's pretty refreshing. At least when I opened this flute, it smelled like wood, and I loved it. That was fun, but I don't really smell it now. And I don't know if it's because I've been playing it, and so I got used to it, but it was fun. Now, things about the wood flute, they do require a little bit more maintenance. Now, the maintenance isn't necessarily with the pads like the main maintenance is with the other flutes, as well as the cork, but things you have to consider: wood contracts and expands with temperature. That means you need to try your best to keep your flute at a pretty well consistent temperature. Don't take it out to your freezing car and then your warm house, or your warm house to freezing car, or whatever. You want to keep your temperatures close, because that wood expands, contracts, and you don't want your wood to crack. That's not good. Another thing we need to consider is the moisture that goes into our flutes. So you need to be more mindful of that. So make sure you have to clean out your flute when you're done playing it. And if you start playing for like a while, you might want to take breaks to even just swab it out. When you're resting or taking a little break, you want to keep it more clean. You want to keep it dry. Moisture and wood, bad combination. And speaking of humidity and wetness, before you really get heavily into playing this flute, you want to make sure you warm up. Not necessarily, this warm up is not for you, it's for the flute, and this flute will need a warm up. Also, big thing, you do not want to be playing this flute outside. Do not get this flute for marching band. It's not going to do you well. You want to avoid the humidity best you can. You want to avoid heat, direct sunlight, intense winds. That's all really bad for wood. So this flute is most definitely an indoor flute. Now, generally when it comes to makeup, I always say don't wear makeup no matter what flute you're playing. But if you wear makeup with your silver flute, you can just wipe that off. It's not a big deal. With the wood flute, wood is a little bit more absorbent, so you might end up with some permanent stains. If you wear lipstick with your wood flute, don't do it. Now, there are ways to protect this flute from absorbing moisture. They do have wooden oils for this flute, so that's an option, but don't do it yourself. If you're gonna get this flute and you wanna have it as protected as possible, have a flute tech do it for you, or you could end up damaging your flute even more. So as great as this flute is, it's fun, it's beautiful, it does require more maintenance, so if you're thinking about getting a wooden flute, keep that in mind. It's gonna be a little bit more costly in the long run, but it might be worth it. Now, if you're thinking about getting a wood flute, I highly recommend trying it before you buy it. This flute is most definitely some form of an investment, and I want to make sure you're happy with your purchase. So, a great place to try flutes is the Flute Center of New York. And you don't even have to live in New York, they ship it right to you. And the nice thing is, it's free to try flutes. If you use the code Reesa, R-E-E-S-A, shipping will be free. That means trying out flutes is going to be zero cost to you. And you'll get an extended trial period with that code, and if you decide to buy a flute, you'll get an extended warranty. You can't beat that. But for reals, try the flute before you buy it. And if you're unsure if you want to get the wood flute or a gold flute or a silver flute, you can try different kinds of flutes. All you gotta do is let the rep know, and they'll send them right your way. I absolutely recommend trying them. You've got nothing to lose. If you have any further questions, comments, concerns about the Zhao wooden flute or any other flute, let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to hit like, notify, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our flute-related content. Thanks for joining, and until next time!